Hello, and welcome to the AfterParty, Conversations with SpyParty players. Today, I'm joined by Drawnonward.
How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. What about yourself?
I'm doing fine. I, if I recall, you wanted to talk to me about streaming and then how it affects SpyParty and all that jazz.
Yeah, and all that jazz. We could
Did
talk
you have
about
any
jazz as well.
specific?
That might be a relevant
No, I'm
topic.
not, I'm not a jazz guy. I'm gonna be totally
No?
honest here. Jazz, I like. You can ask Kaylee, or anyone who knows me in real life. I like fast-paced music, kind of upbeat stuff. So jazz, I mean, it can be upbeat and not. In my experience, it's never been what I want in music.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I've watched your stream a few times and I've noticed you have very eclectic music tastes. I will say that.
That's ridiculous. My music taste on my stream is whatever I want it to be. If I want to listen to songs from musical, I'll listen to songs from musical. If I want to listen to hardcore punk rock, I will listen to that.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said eclectic. That means varied, right? I'm not getting my
Yeah, I,
synonyms
I
mixed
was
up.
I was just being sarcastic.
Okay,
I'm
sorry.
I'm sorry. I'll never be
Bad start.
sarcastic again.
We would never want you to be any other way. But anyway, so the reason I'm talking to Drawn Onward, I mean, you really don't need any reason to talk to Drawn Onward, but one of the reasons is because you, has it basically been since you started playing Spy Party?
Well, as you can see on the forums, if you can find one of my responses, I don't talk that much on the forums.
Drawn Onward's played for a
I
long time, everybody. He's played for over two
I
years.
joined on Halloween of 2012. That is my exact join date. Although I joined like the night of Halloween, right? Like, um, so I was consider I like to overlap it to November 1st if for ease of sake.
Hmm.
But, but yeah, 2 years now. Kind of sweet, a little over 2 years. And I started streaming mid-November of 2012, early to mid. I started like November like 9th or 8th or 10th or somewhere around there. And then like I stopped, and then I tried it again. And then by the end of the month, I was trying to stream regularly every day.
Wow. Like, were you streaming other video games before you were playing Spy Party?
Um, I think about 6 or 4 or a few months prior to me getting SpyParty, before it even going into beta, if I recall, um, I was really into another game at that point, StarCraft 2, and I tried streaming that once, and I was atrocious at the game. So I tried streaming it. I had no clue what I was doing, right, with streaming. So I find this other software, and it's horrible. Like, I would never use it today. And I stream, and I flick in the chat, and the chat's like, "You're the worst, John. Why do you even play this game?" And then I decided to never stream StarCraft 2 again, because I did not have a positive experience with the people who entered my stream. It was pretty
Oh,
horrible. But when I got SpyParty, I decided that it would be funny and interesting to stream it for a variety of reasons. The first of which is when I joined, it was in closed beta. Now it's an open beta. Anyone can join. You can pay $15. What do you do?
hmm.
However, when I joined, it was in closed beta. So I decided people wanted this game, and I have the special access to this game. Why don't I show people what it's really like?
Huh.
Now,
That's
the other idea I had was that I knew I'd be bad at first, because you always start off bad at a game, especially a game as different as SpyParty. So the idea that I had was that I would stream the game and I would be bad, right? I mean, I not on purpose, but I would inherently not be good yet. And I never expected to get like to get good or decent at the game, to be
hmm.
quite honest. But I thought it would be interesting to see somebody learn and grow and progress as a player in real time.
Wow, that's actually rather cool. Now I want to go back and I don't think since you've been going for so long that those videos would be archived, but it might be
I
interesting
I
to.
used to archive some of them, and I think
Yeah.
there's a handful you can still view.
So we
However,
so we can
since
watch like
Twitch saved,
pre-quality drawn.
oh no, I think most of those are gone. To be quite honest, it used to be I would try and save most or all my videos like on the save forever thing on Twitch, but
Hmm.
then Twitch decided they wouldn't allow save forever except for highlights. So the closer you're gonna get is like the bigger events that I've highlighted, like my
Right.
100 stream, which I put with Chris, and that's where I started using a face cam for the first time. Prior to that, I didn't have a cam at all, and then my 1 year stream, and more recently my 2 year stream, and a few highlights in between those events. Um, Fun fact, actually, before I got a face cam, I almost lit my room on fire while on stream. That was probably the funniest thing. I told my friends about it, and they're like, "No way, Drawn, that's ridiculous." I'm like, "You want to listen to it? I'll point it out." And like, you can hear the fire alarm go off, and oh my god, it's so funny.
Okay,
Oh
wait,
my
so
gosh.
we have to detour on that. So why did you nearly set your room on fire?
Well, it's a little embarrassing, but it's really funny. Um, so I enjoy candles. I like lighting candles, and you can kind of see where this is going. And so I'm streaming, and I think my opponent was taking a while, or they were like, "I let me go to the bathroom," and I was just messing around. And so I was the smartest person in the world. Instead of lighting a candle with a normal match like a smart person would, I tried to light a candle by lighting a match and then lighting it onto a napkin and then lighting it onto onto the
Why
candle.
did you think this was a good
Which,
idea?
hey, whoa, come on. It's like at least at midnight. You think I have good ideas at midnight, like streaming? Let's be honest, Sharper. Nothing was a good idea. Even when I stream nowadays, I'm like, this is a horrible idea. Why am I even here? Anyhow, point is that the reason my room almost lit on fire. Normally this would be fine. Normally the napkin got a little out of hand, so I threw it in the trash can. Right? No big whoop.
Hmm.
Well, there was other materials in my trash can which interacted poorly with
Ah,
flammable
great. Yeah,
materials.
with the embers.
And yes, precisely. So it's not entirely my fault. I just didn't know those were
What
in
are
my
you
trash
talking
can.
about? That is entirely your fault. You set fire to something and then you didn't check if it was going to light other things on fire.
No. I tried to focus on playing a good game of Spy Party. I think we're focusing on different things.
So
Now, don't get
really,
me
it was
wrong.
Chris's fault for distracting you with Spy Party.
Yes, I mean,
Yes.
in the end, I mean, I've
Chris
talked about hacks
Hecker
and
nearly
complained to
set
him.
your room on fire.
I'm gonna sue him now and make mad Spy Party bucks.
Yeah, sorry to his daughter who's never going to get that college fund.
I would feel
Thanks to
so bad if
Drawnonward.
I was the reason, the whole reason she like had like a horrible life. Anyhow, but yes, that is how I
So
almost set my room on
streaming,
fire,
anyway.
and it was recorded, but no longer. I made sure nobody
Awesome.
could see that again.
Yeah, that one got lost to the annals of history. Like that's something that I mean we can get to a more general discussion of Twitch streaming, but something interesting I find is that um for like whatever the like huge historical archive of information that streaming video games would be, and I'm sure like a lot of it would like not be interesting to people to watch. But I'm sure there's like lots of interesting stuff that just sort of gets lost because people record stuff and then it gets um, deleted a few months later. Like, do you feel in hindsight now like there's stuff you wish you'd saved but is gone?
Um, I would say that generally, there's probably a few things I wish I'd saved, sure, but most of the things that I really want to save, I have saved, or I've tried, at least my best to save, and maybe that didn't pan out. But
Okay.
I online, especially on the internet, I don't have that big a deal with losing something forever
Hmm.
because you can almost always get it back. I mean, if I really loved a stream, and the part that was so great was me goofing off, I could just goof off again.
Hmm. Yeah, but like that's I know it's complicated, but I guess a thing that worries me is uh a lot of internet history is very ephemeral and doesn't get uh, taken down. So there's lots of stuff that just sort of gets lost to the to the ether. But yeah,
Yeah, I
like
know. Yeah.
hmm,
Um, but I'm not that worried about it. I mean, the idea goes right that I stream basically every night, right? I missed last
yeah.
night actually, comically. That was oh man, that was
Oh
bad.
really? You said to me you couldn't record. Well, la di da. Oh wait,
You
no,
know
I
what,
said I wasn't
Sharper?
available. Never mind.
The reason that wasn't that. The reason I couldn't stream last night is because it was like 11:50, and I'm like, all right, well I got all my streaming stuff set up, but I'm really cold. I'm gonna put on a blanket, and then I woke up and it was 2 a.m. and I was like, well damn. So yeah, that's how that goes.
What would Drawn's life be like if he went to bed early every night? We wouldn't have the stream. Because yeah, like
Exactly.
that's so.
Exactly.
I don't know if it will go too much into personal stuff, but so drawn onward, sort of what he is partially known for in the community is he streams Spy Party, himself playing the video game Spy Party nearly every night at midnight. So is that just like because of scheduling that midnight is this like open slot for you that you feel like you want to do stuff in? Like why midnight?
All right. Well, for a long time, I like staying up, right? A lot of people like the verb like night owl. It would describe me as a person, generally speaking. Just because I like to stay up, it's something I enjoy doing. I feel like I'm a lot more active when it is night, and that's just kind of how I am. Um, and so for a while, my friends and I we would do things, late into the hours of the night. But slowly they got other things to do, like they got like, jobs or they got serious school obligations, etc. And I realized that I didn't have a lot to do anymore, not at that time.
Oh,
And I decided that if I wanted to stream, the only easily available time, because I'm pretty active during the day generally, even if I mean I'm more of a night owl to quote myself. Um, I still like to stay up and I still like to do my own things. And I decided that if people weren't going to hang out with me in the middle of the night like they used to, and we just hang out in the day instead, I would I would use that time elsewhere.
okay.
But but I don't really have another time of day that I could reliably stream the way I do. I know that when I was trying to set up the TF2 community stream recently, and then the off-topic subforum, KCM was like, "Why can't you do this at a more real time?" And I I didn't even respond to him because I felt like it'd be futile, and also because I can just tell him on Steam or something, and then we can have a big argument or whatever. But
Hmm.
the basic gist of it is that I don't have a regular time I could stream that wouldn't. I mean, I tried it for a week, a long time ago, and not much changed. It wasn't worth the amount of effort that it took to schedule it on my end.
Okay. Hmm.
So that's to put it lightly why I stream at midnight. I mean, it is tiring sometimes. Sometimes I'm just like dead or something, but that's part of the challenge. You need to be able to play Spy Party under every condition.
Yeah, you need to play it for God. What was one of the other community members, Crazy Kelly, once played 1,000 games straight. The game takes about
Yeah. Oh my
two
gosh.
2 to 3 minutes, so that took him what, like God, 30 hours, 40 hours?
I don't even want to think about it. I know
Yeah,
I love Kaylee, but I don't think I could do that.
he's
I'm
called
sorry.
Crazy Kelly for a reason. Very sensible person most of the time.
But it's misspelled. He's crazy.
Intentionally misspelled. He's controlled crazy. Um, but yeah, so like playing at midnight, at least midnight relative to where you live in the States, like, are you able to reliably find people? Like, who's on at that time?
Well, in my head, there's been kind of a timeline. I'll put it this way, right? So the timeline, they're goalposts or milestones, if you will. And the first milestone is, it's between when I joined and the ending of the closed beta.
Hmm.
That's the first big milestone. The second one would be the opening of the beta, which is of course that, and then probably 3 months afterwards, because that's when a giant flood of players entered.
Okay.
And then the next one is kind of more wishy-washy, doing with updates like Purloin becoming a mission, etc., etc.
New art.
Um, yeah, stuff like that. And so it's less defined. But in the first area where it's just like closed beta testers. It was really hard to find an opponent, and sometimes what I used to do, and I still like this in some ways, but it's not very good for an entertaining stream. Was I would log on, I would wait about 10 minutes, which is still about how long I wait. I'm not that patient. I mean, come on, man. Like, I just want to play some Spy Party. Um, and and I would wait about 10 minutes, maybe more, depending on my chat or what's going on. And if nobody popped on, I would just turn off the stream. That would be it for the night.
Okay. So people would log on at midnight to watch you, wait 10
Well, I mean,
minutes, and then log off.
back then, like Chris would tweet about me or whatever, and that would really be it. And maybe I'd get one or two people.
Hmm.
I mean, now I have like a following, arguably. Like, sure, it's 10 people,
It's
maybe
debatable,
20.
but you could make an
Yeah,
argument for.
I will not brag about the amount of people that watch me. I understand it's a small number. I'm not trying to become this like crazy big Twitch streamer. I'd love to, but that's just not going to happen with where Spy Party is right now. No offense to Chris, the fan base is just too small. It's not there. The
Hmm.
demand is not there. So, I understand I have a small audience, and that's fine by me. I don't have an issue with it. But Yeah, when I was new, you know, maybe one, maybe two people would pop in the stream. There wasn't really a layout back then. It's hard for me to read chat and play. And it was awkward, right? But I would find people now and again. I know that when I first started KCM and I played a ton. If you if you could see my first like 20 streams, the first month or two of me streaming, it's mostly against KCM.
Was he starting around that time? Did you two like
That
learn
him and I
at the
joined
same time?
on a day apart. I joined on the
Wow, how
31st,
about
he
that?
joined on the 1st. And that's
Joined at the
why
hip.
when we started, we played a lot, and that's why when I did my 1 year stream, I asked him to take over my stream because I thought it would be perfect
Ah,
to do it that way. It felt very right considering. I mean, KCM's a great player, and I've always loved playing against him. And it's just I've always felt like if there was like if I had a SpyParty brother, KCM would be my SpyParty brother because we were like quote unquote born a day apart or something.
hmm.
Which I guess doesn't make sense for real life brothers, but I'm not gonna get into that because that's kind of weird.
Should he make an alt account that's a palindrome as well? It's like KCMMMCK.
I've joked about that. I don't think he would do it because
Oh no,
it
you'd
would
have to
need
invert
10
the M's as
M's.
well.
It
Yeah,
would
you'd
need
need
10 M's.
for
Yeah,
for
I
some
mean,
reason, very highly experienced player KCM has 5 M's in his name. Do
oh,
not
you know
ask us
why,
why.
right?
No?
I know why. You don't know why? It's great.
There's a story to this,
So
please. Do
yeah,
do
you don't know the
tell. This is
story?
being
Oh
recorded.
wow, this story is hilarious. All right, KCM is his initials, right? Those are his initials in the real world, the magical land of far away that exists only within your imagination or when you look outside. Um, and and so he has said, and I'm assuming this is properly true, but I mean, for all I know, he's messing with me. But it's been a while. He has told me, and I'm pretty sure this is on the forum, so I hope he doesn't hate me for telling this that each M is for every time he forgot his his account's password on a website. So he would just make a new account with another M every time he would forget. So
Wait,
that's why there's 5 M's because he's forgotten it 4 times.
wow. That's interesting that his name is now a constant reminder of his poor memory.
I always thought it was a really good story, and I hope it's true. I mean, for all I know, he's lying. I don't know. I mean, KCM, he's a very good player, which means he's probably a good liar.
Hmm. Unlike you, of
Yeah, you
course,
see,
you never lie.
I would never lie. That's yeah,
Drawn Onward
exactly.
would never lie. Is that a lie?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Someone's like, Drawn, is your name a palindrome? And I go, I don't even know the meaning of name. I mean, palindrome.
Yeah, I actually started out slightly earlier than you. That shows that the way we play is very different. I play much more casually compared to you. Um, I originally started with an account called Drawn to Noob, and people thought it was a pseudonym account of yours.
Yeah, I only have one account. I have an extra account that Chris gave me for helping at PAX this last year.
Oh, cool.
But I'm probably never going to use it for me. Probably just going to give it away or some such. I don't have any pseudonym accounts. If you ever see anybody that is not named Drawnonward at the lobby, as of the time of this recording, it is not me, I promise.
Okay, even if they go whoop
Although
whoop.
although Viri or Wodar might claim it's them.
Hmm.
Or me, rather. Sorry, not them.
Yeah, it's hard to know. Meta play at work. But yeah, we should probably get back to this topic of streaming because I think the really
Ridiculous.
I think it's an interesting topic to discuss. And really, I guess one of the questions I have is so streaming video games is a recent thing. Like part of that may be for technical reasons, like it's a thing that some group of people figured out might be popular, or as a piece of technology that someone built, or maybe it was something that was around for a long time just caught on. But my question is, why do you think people want to watch somebody playing a video game?
All right. Well, let me answer this, but let me give you a slight background on my interaction with streaming prior to and after I've started streaming.
Hmm.
Now, I am somebody who does watch a fair amount of streams. I just enjoy it. I don't watch TV anymore. I don't bother watching it. It feels like I could rather be doing something else, but just comically watching streams. So it really doesn't it doesn't
So what,
really
it
balance
like
out.
feels
But I act
antiquated to
superior
watch
when
TV?
people talk about TV. It's really great. Um, but I really enjoy watching streams, especially of games that I think I can get better at and that I really enjoy playing. Um, And it's funny, actually, lately I've been watching like Counter-Strike streams, and they're really weird because half the players just feel really immature compared to the players I've run across in SpyParty. No offense, Counter-Strike players, just the streamers you guys have. I'm like, come on, man, come on. You could you could not say
Well,
words like that on
it's a
stream.
weird culture, isn't it? Because it's simultaneously a very
I
serious,
I don't know
complicated
enough
game,
about
but
it.
there's also like a weird sort of gun fetishization going on.
I don't know. I watched a few streams. I mean, I've had a good time, but it's not something that I'm a big part of. So I feel like it's not my place to say anything.
Right, right.
Anyhow, but I enjoy watching streams. And so I learned a lot. I watched some. I saw how it was done, and I think the reason that people do watch them, to answer your actual question, is part of it is potentially for a very sports-like, rooting kind of mentality, where people watch Sunday Night Football or Monday Night
Mm.
Football or whatever nights football actually plays. I don't even know.
In Australia, the
And
word we have
that's
for that is barracking. We say we barrack for a team instead of we root for a team. Fun fact.
that's very interesting.
Hmm.
And then some of that's the same in Twitch or other streaming websites where you watch the GSL for StarCraft 2 or whatever, and you root for your favorite players or their teams, right? Another part is a large part of it is scoping out games. So if there's a game I want to play or try, and I don't have the money for it, or I'm not sure if I want to fork over the money for it immediately, I will watch a stream of the game and decide if I like what I see. And a lot of people do that with YouTube as well. So there's a bit of mishmash there, right?
It's
You'll
like
hear about a
cross
game through like
advertising.
Total Biscuit or something, and then you kind of go from there if you like what he thought of it, right?
I mean, that's an interesting one because that must. I'm not sure if it's like scary or confusing or like strange for people working in marketing to go, all of the money that we spend is on like trying to like advertise this quote unquote consumer product, even though like you could make a very good argument for games not being products, is being usurped by people with OBS and a Twitch profile.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And but it's also scary though because people can be duped, especially on YouTube. Way more YouTube than like Twitch. Where people can get paid money to do reviews, and then it's like how fair is that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's not just that. I mean, there are ways that marketing agencies and in-house marketing people and groups can kind of like quote unquote fight back. But if your product's any good, you shouldn't need to worry about that, right? Some people aren't gonna like your game, and that's fine. I've
Hmm.
played plenty of games that other people have loved, and I've just not liked,
Hmm. And
and
like,
that's just how people are.
yeah,
Different opinions.
and it like may, maybe it's a bit naive to frame it that way. Like it seemed to me from like some reading that really like the more money you spend on marketing just means more people are likely to see it, and so that is going to reach the actual like larger numbers of people compared to like someone streaming something. But it still can sometimes be the weird case where you know something becomes super popular from just a stream that had no like paid marketing.
And I feel like Minecraft is a pretty good example of that, where just some people played Minecraft and they put it on YouTube and it just got huge really fast.
Hmm.
Like Minecraft got crazy, but it was their marketing budget. It was still an alpha. No, they didn't have a marketing budget. I mean, and that's kind of the dream for indie games, right?
So yeah, but like I mean, uh, Minecraft's success is at a very large scale. So like, I don't know like how good your history is because I don't know. Like when you say it got really big in that alpha phase of whatever 2009 2010, like how big are we talking? Was it like a few million people? Was it
It got big enough to support Notch for the rest of his life. I think that's a good way to put it.
right? But like at the scale of one person, that's
Yeah, I suppose, but I don't know. I don't know exactly how big it got, but I just know that it went from um, I'd never heard of the game to almost all my friends were talking about it,
hmm.
which, granted, is of course very
It's
biased,
yeah,
and that's
it's
just how
still
my view
a
of it.
niche circle.
Yes, precisely. However, I mean, if you talk to somebody about video games, Minecraft comes up. I mean, it's a very widely known game. They're making Legos of it now. I mean, it's not a small thing.
Hmm. Hmm. No, it's interesting to see how uh, how the landscape of how people talk about and advertise games has changed with streaming. it's strange. It is. I'm not sure if it's something that people would have predicted would have become popular.
Well, I mean, I know that Twitch is only getting bigger, and that's why Amazon, if I recall, recently bought it.
Hmm.
And I mean, I heard, I know a lot of rumors about Google buying Twitch came up, but to my understanding, that would have gone against a lot of U.S. antitrust laws, so that
Well,
wasn't gonna happen.
well, no, didn't they did buy it and then they sold it to Amazon? Or am
No,
I?
they did not buy it. Those were all
No?
rumors. All the Google
Oh, okay.
buy-ins were rumors or were never confirmed. And a
Okay.
lot of the speculation goes that they were gonna buy it. Excuse me. They made an offer, and then the FCC or whatever controls the antitrust laws were like, yeah, you can't buy Twitch because that violates all these laws that are really important.
Okay, wait. So, what was it violating for Google to try and buy Twitch?
In America, I don't know if you guys have this in Australia. There's a group of laws called antitrust laws, and antitrust laws basically prevent companies from having a monopoly on a certain product or service.
Okay.
So the idea goes that if Google bought Twitch, they would own Twitch, right? So that's like the main live streaming website, and YouTube, the main like video
Yeah. So,
website in the world.
so wait. Why were they allowed to buy YouTube? Because that seems like a much larger, a
Well,
way
because
larger
there are
user
other
base than
ones out
Twitch.
there. There are other ones out there, like at the time Twitch, and if you go to Japan, like Nico Nico. However, they at before it's about a monopolies, right? And YouTube
Hmm.
was the big contender, but there are other ones. There's smaller ones, sure. And so it's about having a monopoly. That's all the antitrust laws care about. So if you just have one, that's fine, right?
If you
But
have
if
one
you have
giant
all of
monopoly.
them, if you've collected all of them, then that's no bueno.
Okay, that's very interesting. Um, so I guess taking the topic back from like business popularity related stuff to like streaming in relation to Spy Party. There's a thing that's eventually going to happen. So I mean we've been talking about streaming for a while. We get the idea that it's a live broadcast of someone playing something. Um, do you think it's going to be used less when people have live spectation of the game? So there's currently when you play a game, it'll save a full recording of the game, and eventually that's going to be live spectation, so people will be able to log in and watch people play. Like, do you think that's going to have an effect on how popular streaming is?
I've always held a certain opinion on that, and it's something that I've really tried to do with my streaming and my stream particularly. But until we get more streamers, I can't see if this actually works. So the way
Okay.
that I view this is when spectation comes in, let's say that you have 10 people who stream Spy Party, right? And these 10 people all stream Spy Party, and they're all of varying skill levels, right? But if 5 of those people just play Spy Party, that's all they do. They don't interact with chat. They just play. And the other 5, they interact with chat. They have a good time. They have good music, or they have good conversations with their opponents and/or chat. I think that 5 of those streamers will stop being streamers and they'll just be spectated, and the other 5 will still be watched because they're interacting. Right? They're providing a service and entertainment that spectation can't give.
Okay, that's interesting.
So that's it's one thing I've always strived for. Once Chris started talking about spectation, one of the first things on my mind was, well, my stream just died of spectation, right? And
Hmm.
I don't want that. Now, granted, I don't mind if people spectate me. I mean, sure, it's like one less viewer, but it's probably much easier to watch. It has all these cool inbuilt features, etc., etc. So I wouldn't blame anybody. But the idea goes that if I can make my stream more appealing than spectation, I want to.
Okay. That's yeah, that's the interesting thing. That brings up the sort of counterintuitive I didn't think about is this idea of playing a video game and having an audience. Suddenly that becomes a service. Like that's
Yeah,
a, a
I
very
view it
very counterintuitive.
as a like an entertainment kind of service, like a show almost. But
Hmm.
that's about as far as I go. I try to be, polite, but not overly polite to the point where it gets almost rude, where it curves around again. And
Yeah, where you're not a person anymore. You're like being so
yeah, like where you're more robotic than you are human. And so I try to be polite. I try to, talk with my opponents. Sometimes we have great conversations. There's good jokes going around, and sometimes it doesn't just pan out. Maybe one of us is having an off night. Maybe one of us gets salty and gets mad or something.
Mm.
It happens. The idea is to not hold it against anybody from night to night, because that's just not polite.
Yeah, well, and it's the nature of a live show is that thing like it's not edited, so sometimes you will just not have a good time, and like
Yeah, and
that's
and I don't know what's gonna happen from night to night. For all I know, a group of hackers are gonna hack my computer and make the worst things ever happen. But thankfully, I'm not large enough for any of that to matter. So even if that did happen, there'd almost be no repercussion, because somebody would have to know about that for it to be an issue. And let's be honest, I don't have that large an audience.
mm. Like do um that's an interesting question. So part of what maybe like um I don't know if it's like an appeal, but like one like attribute of sort of streaming games and having a small audience is this nice feel of having like a small manageable audience. Like, what would it be like for you if suddenly Drawnonward streaming SpyParty was watched by 100,000 people every night?
Well, first of all, I would be on literally the front page of Twitch. Like, that is more. If you go to Twitch right now, I bet you there is no single game that has 100,000 people watching it. But, um, but
Yeah,
if that were
speculate,
to happen,
speculate.
um, I'm just putting it in for reference for our viewers, just because I know what like the average top game on the viewer count is. But anyhow, if that were to happen, there's two primary things I would be considering, right? One, I'd be happy that I mean enough people wanted to watch me play Spy Party. They enjoyed me, they enjoyed the game, they enjoyed the combination thereof, they enjoyed how my opponents and I interact and all that, right? They all clearly enjoy that a lot. And two, I know it'd be very overwhelming interacting with chat, because I know that once you get past, I want to say 10 to 30,000 people, once you get up to like 50 and 70,000 people, very commonly, um, unless it's like a spectator sport, very commonly the chat gets out of hand very fast, and I
Hmm.
mean out of hand very fast. That's why
Just
people like
becomes a sea
Day9,
of words.
they just put their chat in sub mode when they start actually streaming, and then only subscribers can talk, right? Which is annoying if you're not a subscriber, because you're like, oh, this sucks. But then it makes it so only 10,000 people can talk out of the 80,000 watching.
Hmm.
I mean, I would like it. I would like to, be that large, but I've come to the understanding with myself that Spy Party as is not that large, and it's going to take a while before anything like that happens, right? It would be
Hmm.
literally an explosion if it did, and I would like that, but it's something that's going to happen naturally if it's ever going to happen. And I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to like cry if it doesn't happen. I love Spy Party, but I can't bank on it becoming this crazy huge esport. That's just silly.
Hmm. No, that's very reasonable. Yeah, it's I mean, it was interesting to me just as a thought experiment because like um what would the nature of Twitch be if like I don't know like do you feel like the audience size of I don't know the numbers of something like Dota 2 or StarCraft, like do you know how that would compare to the scale of something like uh I don't know Gridiron in the States, like, do you have any idea what the comparable size of those two audiences is?
I what's the second one again? Gridiron?
Is that what you guys call football over in the States? Gridiron?
Well, no, that's just called football. Oh, you
Okay,
mean
sorry,
soccer? Do you mean
football.
soccer? Or do you
No,
mean
no, no. Like
football?
American football, we call it gridiron. So, oh,
Okay, I've never heard it
oh,
called
all
gridiron
right.
ever.
I'll rephrase the question. So, do you have any idea what the size difference is in audience between something like Dota 2 and American football?
Oh, I don't know offhand, but I know that recently there was a Dota 2 tournament broadcasted on ESPN2, and it did better than like actual sports events in viewer share.
Okay, that's interesting. Because yeah, like my thought at the moment with us talking about streaming is what what would the nature of Twitch be if it was a mainstream thing that people watched? If a large, let's say, TV scale audience were watching Spy Party streams.
Well, I think I have a hard time buying that they would really watch it for more than a game or two. I'm not saying
Mm.
that
Like out
the
of
general.
curiosity.
I have a hard time thinking they'd watch it for long because the general attention span wouldn't really be there unless they could build interest, and that's really hard to do. I mean, even in even big esports that we think of, it's hard to do because there's so much information that you need to know to even kind of grasp what's going on.
I mean, I feel like in a game like football, okay, tennis probably not so much the case, but you know, in something like football, there are a lot of rules. Or like televised poker, there's a lot of rules. So I don't know. Um
My explanation would be that most of those are culturally handed down games, and because of that, most people know those games at least to some degree, right? They
hmm,
know poker is about having the same cards or some such, right? Pairs are good, for example. At football, it's very, I would say it's probably easy to tell who's winning, but I don't watch a lot of football, so I don't really have a lot of, I don't have a good frame of reference for that one, to be fully honest.
right.
And so, but then when you see a video game, a lot of people haven't dealt with video games, especially people watching TV. Um, at least people who actively watch TV and they don't like pre-record it or something.
Hmm.
Especially with the younger people watching like Netflix and video streaming stuff like Hulu. I mean, mm, I don't know if it'd be that important. I think that Twitch and Google and all those people having their own streaming stuff, because you can stream on YouTube now. They
Oh, really?
they found a good like middle ground where they can get the audience and they don't need to go through the middleman of that is TV.
Right. I mean, I bring up TV just because that to my mind is like a large audience, and Twitch to me still feels like a niche audience. But the point you bring up is maybe like the reason it's niche is because um uh like it is just a more niche interest, something like
Yeah.
StarCraft 2 or Dota, which
Although I mean
it may be.
it's getting to the point where I mean Twitch is getting really large really fast. I know that it did that in the last year, but it's still going. Like it's not slowing down, which is really impressive.
Hmm.
Just
Yeah.
just for a frame of reference, I just know that it is consistently expanding and is not stopping. I know that like Hitbox TV is a competitor to Twitch, but I doubt you've even heard of Hitbox TV,
No.
and that would show the fact that they have not yet succeeded in being better than
Well,
Twitch.
okay, but in the defense of Hitbox, even SpyParty, I don't really watch streams.
That's fine. Don't worry. I mean, I know you said
I'm
that like
sorry.
you're worried, like I'm
I
gonna
know,
yell at you.
like, I feel so
Um,
shitty for saying that. Like, we've just been having this conversation about, like, oh, Twitch is an interesting thing. It'll be interesting to see, like, how it scales
well,
compared to TV. And I'm saying, oh, I don't
can
actually watch that many Twitch streams. So,
can I defend you with what you said, right?
yeah.
Now, on one hand, I hate you for not watching my streams, but that's a personal thing. That has nothing to do with what I'm about to say. Um, but as for other streams, especially Spy Party, when it comes to that, I call, and I think other players would agree with me here. There's a bit of fatigue when watching a game like Spy Party because there's like two ways you watch it, and I've talked a lot about this on my stream with other players and other people who watch streams of Spy Party, and I think there's a general consensus that this does exist, at least with most people, where there's one of two ways to watch a Spy Party stream. There is the classic way that most people think of, where you're watching the stream and you're actively learning and taking in everything that is happening.
Hmm.
And that's probably the best way to watch a stream because you glean the most. It gives you something for watching it. However, that's very hard, right? When you're watching my stream and you're like, Drawn, why'd you do this? That's a lot of time to type that in, hear my answer, process my answer, and then figure out how that applies to you. Whereas the other half is to casually watch my stream. And the idea behind casual watching is, yeah, you're watching what's happening, but you're not paying a lot of attention. You're not trying to make guesses as who's the spy or if he's going to get shot. You're just like, oh, that really cool thing happened. That's pretty sweet.
Hmm.
And the reason for that, in my opinion, is that Spy Party is a very taxing game to play or to watch because it takes so much cognitive load just to play either side, right? And because of that, I'm not saying streaming is not good. I'm just saying that it's hard to actively watch more than I would put my limit like actively watching games around 20 games like a day that
That,
aren't me playing.
yeah, that's interesting because that's sort of my limit for what feels comfortable for me to play is 20 games at a time. Like after 20 rounds, I feel like fatigued most of the time. Like okay, I've had enough. So that's interesting that for people watching, it's about the same.
It's just that when you because you're basically playing when there's sniping going on,
Yeah,
and
totally.
although spy is a lot less like fatiguing, I mean like even somebody who plays it as often as I do, I still have a hard time, and that's why I've always wondered what like if instead of like a pro StarCraft league, it just got replaced with a pro Spy Party league. I've always wanted to see what that would be because the fatigue is real, and I've talked
Mm.
with enough people that I don't think it's just something that a few players think is real. I think it is a legitimately real concern if it ever gets larger, and I'm kind of curious, like, would they take a 20-minute break or would they play one match a day? How would teams work? How would leagues work? How would I've heard people on the forums. I remember like a year or two back, somebody was like, Drawn, if there was ever going to be a Spy Party team, I think you would be the first one to make it. And I just laughed because I can't. I don't know if I could do that, but I would love to. It'd be sweet. But teams only come up when there's competition, and when there's competition, there's money.
Mm.
Or some variation there. I probably missaid it, but you get the idea.
Competition and money makes
They go
attention.
hand in
It's
hand.
yeah, it would seem in the current climate of sports and mass broadcast entertainment, money seems to be a very interesting ingredient. Um, hmm.
But yeah, I don't fault you for not watching a lot of streams. I mean, my
Well,
favorite thing
oh,
if
okay,
anybody
like
listened to this.
my thing is because they in my mind feel analogous. Like I'll watch or listen to part of a stream if like the person playing is talking about a particular thing, or if someone shared it with me saying, "Oh, this was an interesting play that somebody made," but because it feels analogous in my mind to playing, I'm like, well, I don't want to be staring at a screen for too long, so I'd rather just be playing the game. Like that's sort of what spurred my interest in having this discussion with you is streaming to me is still a bit of a foreign thing. Like I'll watch a bit, but it's not something that I watch regularly.
Uh, well, I mean, I watch a lot of streams of just various games, and I would say, I mean, it's something that I've taken to very very easily. It's something that I'm into. I really enjoy it. I know that I've seen other people from the Spy Party community in other streams. Sometimes they'll say, "Hey," sometimes I won't. Sometimes I just want to chill and just not even interact with the chat.
Hmm.
However, I don't see them quite the same way you do. When I watch Spy Party, sometimes it spurs me to want to play Spy Party, and I'm like, yeah, man, that was a sweet set. I want to play sets like that.
Okay.
And then sometimes I go, all right, well, I'm a little, Kaylee's been streaming 18 hours of Spy Party because of his ridiculous 1,000 game thing. I don't want to play any more Spy Party for the rest of the week.
It's like his tiredness wears off on you.
Yeah, and I would say it's kind of like how if people around you are peppy and excited, um, you can get peppy and excited regardless of your other mood that day,
Hmm.
and it just kind of rubs off on you. And then if the stream is if the set is great and everything was good and happy and exciting, then maybe you are.
Yeah, that's no that's an interesting way to come at it that I hadn't thought that it can like motivate people to play.
And that's the idea. I mean, I found that generally it doesn't really do that, at least in my experience. But I know that's a personal thing.
Hmm.
Generally, I see people they pop in the stream. I mean, sometimes I get people who regularly just do not play Spy Party, but they'll watch me, they'll watch other people, but they don't play, and they probably never will.
That'd be interesting then if they started playing. They've suddenly not touched the game, but had this huge uh, like library of information of seeing the game being played. So
Yeah,
that would be
especially at such a
that
high
would be
level. But
interesting.
the thing is, they would need to play it somebody at a high level, or else they would probably, especially as like Spy, I just imagine them doing these high level tactics and then getting shot for something
Yeah,
that doesn't
for
even
simple
exist,
stuff.
right? Well, simple stuff that maybe not even right, because that's so common when you're new or when anyone's new. Especially at Spy Party, you shoot for these things that look weird, and then you learn later, oh, that's how briefcase support works, or
Mm.
whatever.
Yeah, and I suppose that's uh, a thing that would be interesting when thinking about like a large whatever that means audience of people spectating Spy Party is some people are going to have different amounts of knowledge of what is and isn't a tell.
Now, I've dealt with this personally, where I go into streams, because, like, I was gonna say this earlier, to anyone listening, if you want to watch SpyParty streams and you use Twitter, follow at SpyParty streams, the Twitter account, because it automatically updates whenever there's a SpyParty stream on Twitch, no matter who it is, right? So, because of that Twitter feed, I will watch more or less any SpyParty stream I can find. Whether or not I'm watching it actively or not depends on the level of the player and my mood. Um, but I mean, sometimes I'll
And
pop into
various
like
other
lyric
factors.
stream,
Hmm.
but sometimes I'll pop into larger streamer stuff, and they'll be playing SpyParty, and that's sweet. And I try to answer questions. I try to be polite. And I've been successful sometimes. Sometimes I just get drowned out in the noise.
Hmm.
And it's funny because if you watched Chris stream on Tuesdays at 10 on Twitch, that's at 10 a.m. There's not that large an audience. Like he's gotten like 1,000 people
Yeah,
before.
that's
That's respectable. But I mean, I've seen people get like what, like 10,000 people watching, and it's like, oh my gosh. I mean, I can't imagine if my stream chat went that fast. But if it did, I'd be happy, and I don't think I could interact with them ever because it'd be moving so darn fast.
yeah. No, the 10 a.m. Time slot's an interesting one. I certainly can't watch that because that's like the middle of the night for me. But yeah, like I wonder like who's watching Twitch at 10 a.m. Uh,
And people are though. I mean, I got extra viewers when I streamed it last week because I played them for the New Art Tournament games, and I mean, I got extra viewers, and I was streaming at 10 a.m. just because I decided, hey, if he's gonna stream and he'll be on his Twitch front page, why not, right? That's
you
free marketing.
you need to take those viewers. It's like, oh, why does Chris get the 10 a.m. viewership? I'm gonna
Yeah, why didn't Twitch offer it to me?
You need
What
to
jerks?
get in on that open market share.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly what I said.
All of the hypothetical dollars to make.
Yeah, I could be making at least a quarter or two with these sick ad revenue. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird though because I look at average viewers, and I on some level it'd be sweet to become this huge streamer that is helping Spy Party get big and all that. But with the way Spy Party is right now, with the way it's growing, I mean that's just not going to happen for a very long time until the game at least releases. I don't
Mm,
think there's a chance it'll get big within beta unless something ridiculous happens.
mm. I
And I
mean,
don't mean to be mean saying that. I'm
no,
just
no.
trying to say what I've gleaned.
Well, I mean, from what we were talking about before, it kind of feels like um, maybe the type of audience Spy Party has is like um, a a cliche or niche sort of audience. But like my sort of opinion on it is a little different. I think Spy Party is potentially a much more mass appeal game than many other popular video games like Call of Duty or whatnot. I think it has like a potential audience appeal that's much larger than those because it's about like uh, p people doing like human scale things. It's not like hyper violent. It has like a calm sort of pace that still has this sort of tempo and excitement to it. So I think Spy Party could be like way popular, way more popular than those. And so like I don't know, like maybe you're right. Like
I
the
feel
point at
like
which that makes it is when it's 1.0 or
in some ways I actually have to disagree with you there,
yeah.
and my reasonings are such. Um, the thing about like hyper violent games like Call of Duty or like Counter Strike, right? Is that there is when stuff happens, it's big and it's exciting, right? It's hard to tell when anything exciting happens in Spy Party. It's very hard. I mean, when
Mm,
when you're new to the game or you've only watched 10, 20 games, even if they're all high level games, I mean, if somebody swaps, it's not flashy. I mean, they swap. What do you do? And then if it is exciting, they'll get shot. And then if it isn't exciting, they'll walk away from the statue and continue being at a party. Whereas in StarCraft, right, they'll lose a whole base and there'll be a giant explosion, and oh my gosh, right?
right,
So it, it's
but like when
it, I understand that I feel like your argument is that it appeals more to humans because humans actually do these things,
well,
but I don't think
like
that's going to make it more exciting.
people like people. People are interested in people. I like. Oh, okay. So my counter argument is, um, it. it's like reading. So when you are literate in what is happening on the screen, then interest is put into it. So swapping a statue in the context of you knowing, oh, this thing happened before, so now I know that he's in potential danger. Like that's exciting. But also, it's digestible. It's there's not other stuff distracting you from whether or not that's happening. If there's like 10 different screens that you have to watch and it's cutting between them, like that's a lot harder to spectate. Um, so that
And
yeah.
I feel like the more reading anyone has to do, the less interested the general populace will be, right? People sitting down and watching a sports
Dude, do
channel
you know how
don't.
like literate we have to be to like process film? Like there's crazy amounts of stuff happening when you watch film.
Well, there's a fair amount of literacy, but there's also plenty of films that are just mind filler and they don't do anything. When you watch
No,
especially
no, no.
kids
Like
films, oh my
even when you're
gosh.
watching like Michael, okay, so like Michael Bay is like not a well organized film, but like even when you're watching that, there's still like a huge amount of like visual information and literacy required to make sense of like uh scene cutting and transitions. So no, I like
I don't know if I fully agree. I feel like um generally most people would when you're old enough to understand like that's an explosion and you have full use of your eyes. I feel like it's not that hard to figure out what's going on in a lot of those movies, to be quite honest.
hmm.
I apologize that we disagree so
No, no,
harshly. It
I'm
makes me
glad
feel
that we
bad.
disagree. It makes for an interesting discussion. No, so I think Spy Party will be super duper popular, but I don't know like what the tipping point of that will be. And
I
for context, that I think the kind of like Malcolm Gladwellian idea of the tipping point is kind of bullshit. But I think there will be some point at which Spy Party is like very popular, but maybe it'll be like I don't know, God, a decade. Like,
now I don't disagree with you there, right? I optimistically think that it will become popular, but I think for different reasons, right?
okay,
I don't think that people are gonna read up on the forums and then come back to a stream when they're linked there by the stream, bother reading all that information, and just come back. I don't think that's really gonna happen. I think that if it ever gets popular, it'll be because we have really good information people like casters, right? I think casters are actually some of the most important people in the future of Spy Party because if we have good casters, people know what's going on and they'll be entertained without having to read all this extra stuff, right? If we have good casters, we don't need any of that. And they just explain it right there and they hit all the nails on the head and they get people interested very quickly. That's what I think will get the game popular in a way that we need. Whereas, I mean, I feel like you consider people will go to the forums and then read like Into the Mind of an AI and bother reading through all that, and it's a
yeah,
great read.
it's
But I'm
dense.
sorry, it's dense, yeah, and I love
Yeah.
Zero, but it's it's not like when I first joined, that was recently written. I was so excited to read it because it was so cool. I don't think everybody's gonna have the same mindset as me.
Mm.
So that's how I see it getting popular. But I mean, how I could be wrong. I don't know.
No, that's a very good point because that is may the latter cast rest in peace. When Toboshi and Crazy Kaylee were casting matches of Spy Party, that was something that I thought was very entertaining and engaging to watch. And yeah, that's totally true. That would be a very accessible way for someone um, to like both find out about the game and learn how it works and what's going on.
It's funny because my grandpa's ladder cast wasn't like Tobo and Kaylee, but it was that they would just cast for like 2 or 3 hours, and I just could not
Yeah,
watch two
okay.
or three hours
So
of like high level
the
play.
the ones that sell the game will probably be a bit more compact.
Well, I'm not even sure if they need to. It just, I mean, that's just my opinion. I mean, I wouldn't mind being wrong. Maybe I'm in the minority, and people love to watch 2 or 3 hours of Spy Party, but I have not encountered many people who can do that
Yeah.
regularly.
No, I think like a couple of people doing like 20-30 minute casts of a match would be more digestible.
And I agree there. Yeah, that is something I totally agree with. I don't know what the best way for it all to go is, but I think it just had to be a little shorter than what they did.
Yeah. No, well, it's certainly I'm glad that streaming is a thing that's popular. I'm glad that it exists.
That felt like the best blanket statement ever. I mean, I agree that it exists too.
Like a blanket statement for multiple complex entwining things, but I don't know. I feel like that might be a good place to close our discussion. Was just to say, streaming is a very interesting thing. I'm glad it exists, and it'll be very interesting to see what it does with games and communities of people in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where it goes, primarily with SpyParty, but
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to say right now. I mean, it's just when the game releases, I think that's when we will really see what we want to see.
But at the same time, like, that's um, the, the like period of time, the nascent spy party period that we're in, I think is also important for, building a healthy community where people are nice to each other and where we figure out um, good ways to talk about it with people and advertise it. And so that's a very important point you brought up about casting. That's probably going to be very important for sort of showing to the public, like, why is Spy Party an interesting game that you should spend time learning about and giving a go.
I've tried casting. I have.
Is it just not in your wheelhouse?
Um, I I I think I tried it out for quite some time on my stream, and what I ended up deciding upon was that I think I either need a consistent co-caster similar to Toboshi and Warning Track, or people just won't be interested or engaged enough to interact
Hmm.
with it. That's kind of my conclusion. I don't think that I can't do it. I'd love to, if Spy Party ever got big, I'd love for that to be what I do, because then I don't need to worry about winning or losing. I can just be great at what I do.
Hmm.
that's that that's what I think would be one of the better things. But I know that people would rag on me for not playing. But um, I I think that we will need good, and I mean very good casters, people who can explain these detailed things in a matter of seconds and on the fly. So I'm
And
not sure
yeah,
when.
it's a like really nuanced craft. Like, you think about God, like sports commentators on radio. That's just insane, being able to like succinctly describe a complex play without even having visuals for reference.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
So,
thankfully we have streaming now, so when I
but
watch
hey,
any
like
game, I don't need to
maybe
listen to
that's
where where that's going. Although listening, I have heard Radiocast by Party. It's not very
that. Yeah,
fun.
I think it might be like a good sort of practice, like training regimen for someone who wants to do casting. Is like, okay, can you make an entertaining cast that is audio only? I think that's a challenge for anyone out there in the Spy Party community. If you
And
wanna try that.
before we end though, I would like
Mm.
to note, and I don't mean to sound discouraging with this,
No, no.
but I have heard casts that were not good, and I would say they are more detrimental than good casts. So
Oh,
be
interesting.
cautious about that kind of stuff. It's
Tread
it's
lightly.
hard to do well, and don't worry, we don't start off great, but that's what practice is for.
Mm. Okay, so before you broadcast any of these, maybe do a few test runs.
Well, yeah, I mean, we all start somewhere, so
Mm.
just just have fun with it. Find out what you do. Find out what you're good at. Find out what you're not good at, and ideally go from there.
Ah, sounds good. That's the great thing about the internet. Very um, the great and horrible thing is that anyone can broadcast anything. So there's nothing to stop you if you have an interest in casting games of Spy Party or any other game. If you want to take it on, please do, because it's clearly something that we need more of. You still there?
But what? Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
I can't tell. I can't tell if we're done. Are we still being recorded?
Yeah, we're still being recorded,
Do
but
they know?
I think we'll call it now. So, is there anything you wanted to say before we go?
Are you gonna say my Twitch link or should I? Because if you're not gonna say that,
I
then
think
that's what
you
I
should.
want to say.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I stream just about every night. Spy Party 5 nights a week on Twitch.tv/Drawnonward. I've been trying out to play longer games, like role-playing games on Tuesdays, and on Thursdays I just play whatever I want. But every other night it's Spy Party. I also am somewhat active on Twitter. It's primarily Spy Party stuff. So if you're interested in that, I'd like a follow. You should also probably follow Sharper's YouTube channel, which hopefully you're viewing this on. And I think that deserves a follow too. That's about it.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much, Ronald, and we'll talk to everybody next week.